Hi. Well, you know what? Where'd it go? I gotta go get my pretty hat. Forgot my hat. Oh, I gotta get my hat. There. I got my hat. I can't tell a possum trot story without my possum trot hat. Freddie got this one for me. I love it. Back up 30 years ago in Possum Trot. Now, Possum Trot has a nice little white church out in the country. And they were going to have a new pastor come and preach his very first message on a beautiful Sunday morning in the summertime. And so the pastor came, and his name was Pastor Jaberwinski Lund. He was half Polish and half Swedish. And Pastor Jaberwinski's son preached a wonderful message that Sunday. And the people had some forethought, and they thought it's going to be a beautiful day, and they had invited some other people from a church in Pokenclean, the next town over, to take a bus and come and enjoy the beautiful summer day and picnic with them and meet the new pastor. So the ladies were very busy in the kitchen, and they were piling the chicken on top of the platters and making potato salad and green bean salad. None of the kids liked that, but a lot of the old people did. And they had cornbread and all the fixins. So, and they went out in the yard, and the deacons were putting all the picnic tables, benches, end to end, make a big long table and roll out the oilcloth and put on, the women were setting out the plates and the forks and the knives and the spoons. They were just going to have a big spread to celebrate the new pastor. Well, it came time, everything was hot and steamy and ready and set out on the table, but the church bus from Pokenclean had not yet arrived, and they thought, this is awful. Well, of course, there were 5 boys that were always in the front of the line. When somebody would say, let's pray and eat, then boom, as soon as the prayer was done, 5 boys were always there to pick up the best parts of the chicken. They went, but the ladies, it was a piece of art when they had it on the tray, you know, so pretty. And this time they said, no, you boys, you, the one boss kitchen, they said, you go behind the shed and you stay there until I call you. When it's your turn to come and eat, then we'll call you, but you stay there. Oh, they weren't very happy about being behind the lawnmower shed. But they prayed and they started to eat, and they said, well, perhaps the bus will come. Well, instead, they got a phone call, and the people on the bus, the driver said, we're not going to make it, I'm sorry. Our bus just had a major breakdown. It's got to go in the garage and everything. So what we're going to do is we're going to go across the street to the new McDonald's over there, and we're just going to have hamburgers. I'm sorry, we can't make it. So the people decided, okay, so they prayed, and they started down the line to eat something. And the boys were looking around the shed, and they thought, oh man, the pastor's first, he's taken piles of the good parts of the chicken, the legs and the thighs. Look at that pile on his plate. And then the pastor went around and sat on the end of the bench way down at the end. And then he was talking, other people were going through. They were all enjoying the picnic, and the pastor said, oh man, that's good chicken. You ladies did such a good job. I got to go get some more. And he'd go back and he'd get some more chicken. And the boys are watching that. Oh, brother, there goes more chicken. And the pastor, what he's doing, he's eating enough to make it look like he's eating chicken, leaving bones. But he's taken good, juicy pieces, and he had lined his briefcase with a napkin, and he's when nobody's looking, he's taking that chicken and letting it drop into his briefcase to have extra chicken. And the boys saw that and they said, "Oh, what a shyster. Man, there's nothing left for the rest of it." Well, the other people didn't know what he was up to. But the pastor was visiting and eating and wiping his mouth with the lady next to him had a napkin. He said, "Can I use your napkin? Thank you." And but that pastor saw those boys behind the shed. They were miffed. They were sitting with their backs against the back wall of the shed. They were throwing rocks on the ground, trying to throw rocks into the cornfield, and they were angry. Everybody's having a good time. And some old witch in the kitchen, they called her, she told them to go stay behind the shed until she called them. And they were obeying, but they were not happy at all. Well, the pastor quietly got up from the edge of the bench and he started to walk toward the back door of the church. And the woodshed was back there too. And they thought, well, he's probably just got to go to the bathroom or something. And he looked and he made a quick turn. And he went behind the shed where all the boys were sitting there just all miffed and throwing rocks. And he said, "Hey, fellas, how you doing?" And they said, "Not so good." And so the pastor said, "Well, look what I got for you." And he opened up his briefcase and he had tons of fried chicken, the best parts, the thigh and the leg. And he said he laid another napkin he laid it out on the ground and he gave it to the boys. And he said, "Eat up, boys." And he said, when you eat this, I'll go call that lady that's the head chief in the kitchen, tell her to, don't forget you can come get some potato salad and stuff. Oh, did that endear the boys to that pastor. They loved that young pastor with all of their heart. And after that, the boys were always in Sunday school and church, and they always were listening and